Wow, this is exciting.
Well, Jack, thanks for coming in. Let me just sort of get right to the business. You've been before us before, and we certainly always enjoyed seeing you, but tell us this, why you want to be a circuit court judge. Is this just a bucket list item, or is this something that you see as your career?
I see this as my career, and I appreciate the question. You know, I've been practicing law for 24 years, 23 or something like that, and I see this as a natural progression of what I really want to do. I've served the law in a number of capacities, through through civil practice and government service in a number of ways, state, federal, municipal. And this is what I really want to do. I can honestly tell you that I want to serve the Seventh Circuit as a circuit court judge. I'm not looking to run for partisan political office or move up to appellate division or federal bench. If you do me the honor of forwarding me to the governor, I promise you that I will work very, very hard for this to get this nomination, and will defend it. They'll retire me at 70. You know, they'll drag me out, and I will stay right here and serve the community. I'm not looking to go anywhere else.
Mr. Capra.
Yes, sir.
One of the questions on the application is, have you ever been a party to a lawsuit as a plaintiff or a defendant? And in reviewing your case, I found that a petition for an injunction for domestic violence was filed against you, and a temporary was entered, and I did not see that this was disclosed on your application. Can you explain to me?
I thought that was a part of my divorce case with my ex-wife. That was my understanding. It was under the same case number.
Should have been two different case numbers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is it? Then that is my oversight, and I apologize for it. That was part of our divorce proceeding. I'll be happy to explain it. But then that is my oversight. My lawyer handled all of that, and that is absolutely my oversight. It was dismissed. It was not. You know, I would say it was a frivolous allegation, but you know, they voluntarily withdrew it, and it never went anywhere. But that I do apologize for that.
We had another applicant this morning talk about how being involved in litigation personally kind of changed her viewpoint and added perspective and depth, you know, to her as a person. I believe that the lawyer who represented you in your divorce is one of your references, and thinks very highly of you, to my understanding. How did being a party in a case, you know, affect your perception of the legal system?
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm not sure that litigation that I was in is so personal to me, because it was the breakup of my family, that I'm not sure that it had a lot to do with my interpretation and impression of the law. I thought it was a very fair proceeding. Got no ill will towards my ex-wife in any way, shape, or form. It was uncontested, so there wasn't a lot of litigation involved. In fact, I never appeared in court in any way, shape, or form. So it didn't really lessen or enhance my already, you know, reverence for the law. It didn't really change me that much. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but I certainly didn't litigate on my own behalf in that case. So.
Could you talk a little bit about your state court experience? I know you work for the Department of Juvenile Justice, but in state court, have you represented individual clients, or is it you just appear on behalf of the department?
In the job that I have now, I represent the Department of Juvenile Justice, the executive agency. So my clients are not the individual juveniles themselves, and I understand that is, you know, we don't have full-blown trials. We don't do, you know, that sort of stuff. State attorney handles the prosecution of those individuals, and of course the public defender does the defense of however they want to work the case. So if I'm actually doing my job right, I'm not appearing in court very often, which is why I don't litigate as much as I used to. Most of the stuff that we end up doing is helping judges understand our interpretation of what the statute is, and maybe then having them change their opinion or modify whatever their ruling was or something like that. So I can understand that I don't do a lot of trial work, and that might be a concern, but as I said, I've been practicing law for a long time, and certainly when I was in the military, we litigated all the time, and the federal rules of evidence haven't changed that much, but certainly I litigated a lot, and I was actually a special assistant U.S. attorney when I was in the Northern District when I was stationed in Pensacola, and those rules are very similar. And as in fact, they're a little bit different. They're a little more difficult, a little more arduous. If you look at the court-martial procedure, the Article 32 procedure, which is akin to a grand jury indictment, the defense actually has an opportunity to put on a full defense and to have the case dismissed there. So as a prosecutor, you need to be fully prepared to not only do that and then go on to the trial, but you have to be ready for that. Under the federal rules, Rule 412, the rape shield statute, the military adopted that years before the federal government did. So as a prosecutor and as a defense attorney, we're working with that. So many cases litigation was a little more arduous than it is in the federal or state criminal practice. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you.
When you were in the Navy, and you said you also did some U.S. attorney work, was it all criminal work, or did you do civil work as well?
It was all criminal work. It was all criminal work. What the Navy does is, well, the U.S. attorney does nationwide, is they will appoint, and that's what it's called, a special assistant U.S. attorney instead of an assistant U.S. attorney. They will let military personnel have that. They have that opportunity to then that loosens their caseload, and it has to do with crimes that occur on federal property or concurrent jurisdictional property. So not just bases, military bases, but also federal parks, things like that, and federal monuments, federal land and stuff. And it lessens their having to do that work, I think, and to get some free work out of it from the military. But it was a great opportunity.
But you did do private practice work,
Yes, ma'am.
And my understanding, and I know that Andrew is new here, so I don't want to kind of jump over what you said before.
Yeah, no, I
have his
absolutely
benefit,
understand.
but you did have some private practice experience, and the reason why you changed that is you were called back up for active
Yeah,
service.
yes, ma'am. I'd be happy to explain all that. Mostly for the benefit of the viewers, because they've all heard it before and they're probably tired of hearing it. But after college, I went to law school, and I was a direct commission of the U.S. Navy, and finished law school, then went in and served about 5.5 years with the U.S. Navy. Actually, my first commanding officer was Judge Swanson, who just retired from the First District Court of Appeals. So then I went back to school and did my LLM in tax, and got my MBA, and then was in private practice in Vero Beach. Was originally an assistant city attorney down there, and then went in private practice with a few firms, doing civil litigation, wills, trusts, and estate, that type of work. And then, and I was actually on the city council down there for 2 years, was gearing up for re-election, and 9/11 happened. And so I went back in uniform for a number of years. In between that time frame, my family moved to Jacksonville, and I got the job at the Department of Juvenile Justice, and where I've been since. And I was mobilized 7 times in total, 6 times out of that before I retired in 2014. So I've had a combination of civil, criminal, and government work most of my career.
I'm not too concerned about how you would do on a campaign trail, but obviously judges who receive their seats through appointment are up again in a couple of years and every 6 years after that. But I know you don't have a whole lot of contacts in the southern part of the Seventh Circuit, or maybe you do. what contacts do you have down here? And what would you do to strengthen your connection in Volusia and Flagler counties?
I actually practice down in here in Daytona more with the juvenile justice more than actually more than I do in St. Johns County lately, the last couple of years for some reason. So I was regularly in front of Judge Hood, Judge LaRue before he retired, and now Judge Hood. The nature of my practice being in government work does not put me in a lot of contacts with private attorneys, so that is definitely something I would have to work on. I'm a member of the St. Johns County Bar Association. I do have a lot of strong contacts up in the St. Johns area, but if I am appointed to this seat, I will do everything I can to defend it. You will not waste a recommendation on me. I will work very hard to strengthen those ties. I would need to do that anyway to just be a good judge, and I believe in strong ties to the community. And I will do everything I can to defend that seat, and I will be very fair and very rigorous in doing that, but I will make every effort that I can to enhance my ties to this other part of the district.
Jack, thank you. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank
We'll
you.
let you know by the end of the day.
Thank you. Sorry that we had to move it.
Thanks again for coming over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.